This is Valley News Live at 5.
Good afternoon, everyone. Local leaders have an urgent plea asking you to get vaccinated. They united today to share their messages, and Valley News Team's JC Dodd breaks down the top takeaways from the COVID-19 public briefing. JC?
Mike, historic hospital staffing shortages, limited hospital capacity, and rationing of a COVID-19 treatment were the hot topics in the public briefing. Sanford's VP says they're at an all-time peak capacity for the hospital, and even with all of their efforts aimed at stopping the spread of COVID-19, case numbers are still on the rise. We're also told staff is tired and resources are limited. Essentia's chief medical officer is telling the public to not rely on monoclonal antibody treatments. He says the North Dakota received 400 treatments this week, and they have all been used, and says the state health department will be rationing the treatment on a case-by-case basis. After all of this, Fargo Mayor Tim Mahoney made this plea to the public. Take a listen.
This is a cry for help from our health system. Please, please make our community handle this virus in a good fashion and not overwhelm our nurses, our staff, our people that are taking care of you.
We also heard from Dr. Tracy Newman with Fargo Cass Public Health, who says a third of COVID-19 cases in North Dakota are among children under 18. She also says modeling predicts the Delta variant will surge in North Dakota before the vaccines are available for children. Mike?
All right, thanks, JC. And join us tonight on Valley News Live at 6 as we ask the Fargo mayor about the possibility of a mask mandate. COVID booster shots are available in the area. Thrifty White has appointments available for those who are eligible to get a shot. The guidelines do not apply to those who did not get the Pfizer vaccine. You can find the information on how to set up an appointment at Thrifty White. It's on our website at valleynewslive.com. Fargo Cass Public Health will be holding Booster Blitz vaccine clinics starting October 2nd. These clinics will take place from 8 in the morning to 3 every Saturday during the month of October. They'll take place at their public health building. Pre-registration is required. You can also start scheduling to get a booster shot at Essentia Health on September 29th. That's next Wednesday. And CVS just announced that they'll be offering booster shots as well. Again, you have to meet certain criteria in order to get them. If you have plans to watch a high school football game tonight, bring a coat or a jacket, and I think you'll be fine. Hutch is here to explain the details for this Friday night. Hutch?
Certainly been a cool one, and in fact, as we look across the region, Mike Morgan, we have temperatures that are almost 20 degrees colder than yesterday at this time. Blue skies aplenty, but that wind from the northwest, it has been crisp. Take a look at this as we look at those temperature differences between now and yesterday at this very same time. Almost 20 degrees colder in Aberdeen, 13 degrees colder in Fargo, and Grand Forks nearly 15 degrees colder. So chilly. We have 50s out to the east in central Minnesota, low to mid 60s here in the valley as we are at our high temperatures for the day. And this is the news of the day, actually. Frost advisory, first one of the season. Red River Valley, nope, it's out to the James River Valley and Cheyenne River Valley. Valley City and Points West, best chance. We'll explain why, but you may want to cover any tender vegetation out there. Clouds going to play a role in our forecast tonight. We'll tell you why, maybe a few sprinkles in that forecast as well. For this evening, get out and enjoy the game. The wind should subside substantially at sunset and beyond, making for a good kicking game, Mike, if any of them close games come down to a kick. I'll have hour-by-hour details on that weekend here in just a few moments.
All right, thanks, Hutch. If you live in Bemidji, you're advised to watch out for a man who police say is going up to random homes and seeing if the door is unlocked. Police have taken several reports during all hours of this happening in the area around Vista North and Birchmont Drive. The person is described as a man with dark hair, often wearing a backpack and riding away on a bicycle. If you notice any suspicious activity, call police. A Moorhead man charged in the death of a 6-year-old earlier this year has pleaded guilty. Authorities say Philip Jones Jr., a felon, admits to owning a gun that killed the young boy. Moorhead police say several children were left at home alone at Jones's apartment back in March. A 6-year-old boy was found dead from a gunshot wound, and police later learned he was shot accidentally by one of the other children. Jones faces up to 10 years behind bars. Police have identified the gunman who opened fire at that Tennessee supermarket yesterday. They say the 29-year-old shot 15 people, killing one shopper before taking his own life. Janet Smalian reports from Collierville, Tennessee.
Pow, 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 pow. And I mean, everybody was rushing. and I'm trying to find the exit that I don't think he coming to.
People inside this Collierville Kroger scrambled Thursday after the sound of gunshots. Cell phone video appears to capture one of those shots and the chaos unfolding at the store.
An active shooter.
Police raced into the grocery only 4 minutes after the gunman opened fire.
We need a chest seal and I need a combat clause.
First responders triaged wounds as customers and employees filed out with their hands in the air.
The employees and even the customers knew what to do. There was run, hide, fight. They secured themselves. We removed people from freezers, closets, hiding between pallets of groceries.
The alleged shooter was found dead from what appeared to be, police say, a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
He was a third-party vendor for Kroger.
Police identified him as 29-year-old UK Tang, saying he worked at Kroger on a daily basis. They say he seemed to be shooting randomly. Authorities seized electronics and other evidence from his apartment, but wouldn't talk about a motive. Olivia King was a regular shopper there. Her son says she was shot in the chest, and doctors couldn't save her. This type of crime needs to stop being glossed over and sanitized, he wrote on Facebook. No one deserves this. Janet Shamlian, CBS News, Collierville, Tennessee.
Police say recent active shooter training enabled them to respond quickly and save more lives. A Fargo man's behind bars after driving over the Red River Dike through people's lawns and leading police on a chase in a stolen car. Officers tried to pull over Bradley Moterow in a neighborhood near the Edgewood Golf Course, but he took off. They spotted the car heading toward a bridge over the river where Clay County deputies set up stop sticks and were waiting on the other side. Moterow was arrested for fleeing police and in possession of a stolen vehicle. The former Minneapolis police officer convicted of murder in George Floyd's death intends to appeal his conviction and sentence. Derek Chauvin said he intends to appeal on 14 grounds. Among them, he claims the judge abused his discretion when he denied Chauvin's request to move the trial out of Hennepin County due to pretrial publicity. Chauvin was convicted earlier this year and was sentenced to 22.5 years in prison. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer plans to hold a procedural vote on Monday on a plan to keep the government open. It's likely to fail because it also raises the debt limit. Republicans don't want the U.S. to borrow more money when it already owes more than $28 trillion. Republicans seem willing to pass a temporary government funding plan that doesn't involve the debt ceiling, or Democrats could fund the government without GOP support using reconciliation. Meanwhile, the U.S. House passed a bill today to preserve access to abortion nationwide. The Women's Health Protection Act allows abortion after fetal viability if the patient's health is at risk. The measure now goes to the Senate, where it's unlikely to pass. Democrats say this bill is necessary after the Supreme Court upheld a controversial abortion law out of Texas. It bans abortions after 6 weeks and allows private citizens to sue anyone accused of violating the law. There's help for those with a physical disability who love to hunt. It's called Twist of Fate. It's providing an outlet for hunters who once felt it was impossible to enjoy the sport. There's a group underway at a camp right now in Leonard, North Dakota, taking on the joy of hunting without letting their physical disability hold them back. Some good news for these hunters. They were able to get in 1 deer last night and 2 deer this morning. This camp is hosted once a year at the end of September. There's full details on our website at valleynewslive.com. Downtown Fargo will be a bit congested tonight and tomorrow. It's Fargo Marathon weekend. Tonight, the 5K, that starts at 6:30. Tomorrow is the 10K, half marathon, full marathon, and relay. Now keep in mind, Broadway is going to be closed to all north and southbound traffic on Saturday, as well as cross traffic moving east and west from 2nd Avenue North and 4th Avenue North. If you're heading downtown, the best way will be to take Main Avenue and park at the Island Park ramp, or go north on Broadway from Main and use the NP public parking lot. Stick around after the weather. What help is being offered to Minnesota farmers who have been impacted by this summer's drought?
Temperatures this morning on the side of chilly out to the west, 39 in Devil's Lake. But tomorrow morning, some could see this on their windows. I'll have details on a chance of frost in your forecast coming up next.